Now, on Queer News Tonight, we discuss the queer headlines. Despite Biden's strong economy, some prefer Trump. What will LGBTQ plus do in November?
Laugh with Miss Richfield 1981 in Bad Advice at Sunshine Cathedral on February 17th. Can I just say, love?
Netflix's Alexander, The Making of a God, sparks debate over the portrayal of Alexander the Great's sexuality.
Ronnie Larsen's musical Seaman comes to the Foundry, boasting impressive ticket sales and promising a rollicking adventure of historic discovery.
Hello and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening television news, broadcasting live and available on demand on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news. It is Thursday, February 8th, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
I'm Out South Florida senior reporter John Hayden. This evening, we bring you the news of and perspective, representing the LGBTQ plus community from South Florida, America, and across the planet.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens unique in the LGBTQ plus news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ plus community. Our mission is to support the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our Black community, Latino, lesbians and queer, women, trans, students, youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS, healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ plus media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. In 2024, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ plus experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ plus community and broader community.
Well, it's Thursday, so let's get the weekend party started by meeting tonight's panel. Up first, Jonathan Casañas, a board member of Forward Miami. He is also one of the producers of Gay Ocho Festival, the largest Latin diversity and inclusion festival in America. Good evening, Jonathan. Welcome back.
Well, good evening. Nice to be back.
And so Gay Ocho isn't going to happen this year.
No.
Like it normally does in Miami on Chi Ocho. But it is going to be very present at Lauderdale Tropical Bear Week next month.
It is. We are partnering up with Tropical Bear Week. I mean, it's kind of exciting. Obviously, we're being postponed till 2025. That's Gay Ocho. So, yeah, they reached out to us. They want us to do a Gay Ocho style at in the park at Richardson Park. So it's called Bears in the Park. We're doing a very tropical themed dance party. We're going to have a lot of artists. Crystal Waters is going to be there. We're bringing Big Dipper all the way from Los Angeles, an international rapper who is one of my good friends. I might be doing a song with him, so stay tuned. It's going to be incredible. But also, there's going to be a ton of other events throughout the week. I hope that we're going to compete with some of these other Bear Weeks that need not be mentioned because they're kind of amazing. But hopefully, Wilton Manors is going to kind of show up. And I think it's going to be an amazing week. And that's March 5th through the 10th.
And this is it's great for Gay 8 or Gay Ocho to keep your brand alive and keep telling people we are still here.
Well, 100%. I mean, honestly, I was a little concerned about kind of staying, on the map, if you will. Sometimes you fall off for 1 year and that's it. Yeah. You're not relatable anymore. But they reached out to us. They said, listen, we love what you're doing. We would love to have that kind of same Latin, party, here in Wilton Manors. And I just moved to Wilton Manors. So, hey, why not bring my Miami flavor here into my neighborhood?
And besides the park party,
yes,
there's going to be Dad's Cabaret.
There is by Drew Sebastian is going to be cabaret. We have a Camo Beach party. We have a rooftop pool party. We have a pool party at the Ed Resort. Yeah, we have a dance party at Eagles. We have one at Hunters. Like it's going to be a jam-packed week, and I'm excited for it myself. I'm going to be obviously, supporting them, but I'm also going to be partying my breast off.
Oh, I can't wait to see that. And it is. I will be there covering, and I will be there strictly for professional reasons.
Rubbing bellies and fur, hopefully.
All right, up next, Dr. Tai Houser, a professor of English and Humanities at Broward College. He also teaches the College of Business at FAU. He's served as visiting professor in colleges in exotic locations, including Bolivia, Brazil, China, India, Spain, and Lincoln, Nebraska. As well,
actually, that's not far from the truth. Go ahead.
And that helps him provide us with an international viewpoint. Tai also owns Linden Bridge, an educational experience company. Good evening, Tai.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be here. I'm kind of wondering, I want to hear more about these bears in the park. Are they going to be in cages, too?
They will. Some will be. I'll be in a cage.
Okay,
but you might want to take me out of the cage after a while.
Hey, that could be dangerous.
Can't you get that cage at Leatherworks?
You probably can.
I bet you can. And finally, James Lyons IV, a political scientist and entrepreneur. He attended Northeastern University and contributed to the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce's Economic Opportunity Team. He co-founded the BLREA, a family real estate brokerage, and established Lyons Labs to empower diverse small business owners and community leaders in navigating the evolving landscape of artificial intelligence and emerging technologies. Welcome to the show. This is your first time here.
Yes, thank you. I'm excited to be here. I'm looking forward to chatting with you guys today.
Yeah, lots to get to tonight, but this is your first time on the show, so I need you to give me your entire life history in 7 seconds or less. Start at the beginning, leave nothing out, go.
Perfect.
And that was amazing.
Here I am.
We're glad to have you here, and we're going to get to know a lot about you over the course of the night, and hopefully this is the first of many visits for you. So thank you for coming in. All right. Well, we are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community around the world is vast, and here are the bullet points for the queer news for today, Thursday, February 8th, 2024. And we begin by queering up politics. In 1992, Clinton said, "It's the economy, stupid." In 2024, is that still true for America and LGBTQ+? Clinton, of course, came to power in 92 because of perceptions over the economy. In 2024, we have a robust economy under President Biden. But a surprising sentiment persists among many Americans that Trump would handle economic matters better. The January jobs report reveals a healthy addition of 353,000 jobs and contributes to the narrative of a thriving labor market with an unemployment rate of 3.7%. The economy seems to be on a steady trajectory. However, concerns linger regarding certain economic issues. Gas prices have fluctuated dramatically over the last 4 years, peaking at $5 a gallon a couple years ago. While prices have dramatically decreased, they are still higher than they were before the pandemic. Also, inflation soared to its highest levels in 40 years. That also is decreasing dramatically. These economic realities must be understood against the backdrop of the pandemic, during which almost every country in the world was hit hard. A belief that Trump's economic policies were superior is also concerning, given the current political landscape where culture wars and divisive rhetoric are on the rise. Polls this week suggest Americans think 2-1 Trump would be better for the economy. What's very surprising is Gen Z and millennials also believe Trump will be better for their economic future. In 1992, presidential candidate Bill Clinton said, "It's the economy, stupid." In America 2024, it's America, stupid. And it's frightening because people still have this perception that we're not getting better, that there's still high inflation rates. But the thing is, there hasn't been any deflation. You're still paying a lot of money for the things that you were. You're just not you're paying more than you were in 2020, but you're not paying more than you were in 2023. but that still takes a while to resonate with people.
And that's all negated by the fact that we're in a housing shortage and that the cost of rents and the essentially living for housing has gone up and hasn't come down at all, really. So we can look at those economic indicators like the price of eggs and milk, and while there might be in certain parts of the country a lowering of those, I think in South Florida they haven't really gone down, not that much. But certainly the cost of living in terms of affordable housing and rent hasn't changed at all. But another important distinction I think that's being made on this particular story is whether or not people are economic voters or social voters. And I, for the life of me, can't imagine why someone would vote for the economy, because business is not good. Capitalism is bad in that it always takes advantage of people. So I personally am always voting on social issues because that's what matters. That's what affects people. The rest of it is just going to make rich people richer.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point. I mean, just coming from the ignorant society over here with my group of friends that are concerned about social issues, but also now that we're getting older, right? We're in our late 30s and our early 40s. We're starting to worry about family and we're starting to worry about, retirement. And so it's become apparent to us that as you get older, things need to start making sense financially. But who can we trust and where is the timing? And it always seems like when it comes to election time, then that is when things start to change. And I think it's a little too late now, where a lot of my friends are starting to trust the Trump route than they are the Biden route.
Does it have to be economics or our civil rights?
So I think economics is important, and I think speaking from a younger perspective also, we have to consider my generation is the first generation projected to be poorer than our parents. And so economics is an important factor to us because we are watching and it's like, there's like, what is going on? What is this shit show, for lack of a better word? And I think that's where you're seeing this disillusionment. And I think part of what we're seeing specifically around younger generations looking at Biden is we're looking at how much money we're sending off to Ukraine, how much money we're sending off to Israel, which a lot of young voters, the Israel-Palestine conflict in particular, do not support Biden's policies on. And so when we're looking at all of that money being sent abroad, but we don't have money here for healthcare, to fix our student loan crisis, to fix our roads and bridges, to put in trains, of course, that's all economic. And I think that's where, again, our generation is becoming disillusioned with the current political system.
So what do we do?
Well,
that's an excellent question.
Yeah, that's a great question.
No, and it's fine that there was silence because, one, it's not our job, but it's a huge question. Yeah, like you said, it's housing, it's our civil rights, it's our 401k. I'm even inflating 401 my retirement plan. It's all of these things.
I have a 403b because I'm an educator, so
that's smart.
No.
But it also changes state to state, right? Like I feel like our wages are not going up, but our cost of living goes higher.
Right.
So here in the state of Florida, it's become a lot tougher to find a job to really take care of the small things, the easy things like rent and food. And so a lot of us are like you said, we're not making as much as our parents are. Where our parents bought their houses for $30,000. Well, there isn't a house here in the state of Florida or less than $600,000 that you can live comfortably in. It's really, really tough in those terms.
Yeah, unfortunately, Florida doesn't matter. Florida doesn't matter. What's the cost of living in or around Detroit? What's the cost of living outside of Pittsburgh? What's the cost of living in Vegas? Oh, spoiler alert, you have better luck on the slot machines.
Yeah.
But that's where it matters. No one cares how much we're paying for our rent in Florida because there's no votes to be had, and therefore there's no real promise or reason to come here.
Well, and that's going, I think, toward the answer to your question is what's there to be done. It's eliminating the two-party system and getting rid of this idea that politicians control voters. So we really need to take back our right to tell people what to do at the state and national level, and we need to get more competition of people wanting to fill those public service positions.
That makes perfect sense to me. And I think that, we hear a lot about people saying, oh, if you vote third party, you're giving the election away to whoever. But I think especially in our local, state and local elections, voting third party actually makes a lot of sense and is a way to break up that two-party system. People don't realize that the majority of the laws that affect your daily life come from your state government, not from Washington. But we put all this attention on the president, on Congress, but we need to turn our attention more locally and say, okay, who are our options here, and understand they actually have a viable ability to get into office at that level.
Not an easy question. We've put out some ideas. Let us know what you think. Drop your thought in the comments section. There's nothing that we can't do if there's nothing we can do unless we solve it together. So let us know what you think. Drop it right. That doesn't look good.
Drop it like
check out my comments section. Tai.
Okay, next, let's queer up entertainment. Miss Richfield 1981 at Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts on February 17th. Experience the comedic brilliance of Miss Richfield 1981 in Bad Advice at the Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts on Saturday, February 17th. Miss Richfield is offering audiences a new show as she dispenses a humorous blend of advice that's sure to entertain. With critical acclaim from publications like the New York Post and TwinCities.com, Miss Richfield has become a beloved drag legend, selling out venues across the country. A passionate supporter of the LGBTQ+ community, Miss Richfield hosts and donates to various charities and events locally and nationally, demonstrating her commitment to causes such as Just Us Health, Planned Parenthood, and the Human Rights Campaign. Don't miss the chance to witness Miss Richfield's comedic genius and philanthropic spirit at the Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts, America's leading LGBTQ+ live entertainment series. For more information, details, and ticket purchases, visit sunshinecathedral.org. I'm excited to see it. I think she's hilarious. I've never seen her live. I've seen clips on the interwebs, but it looks like it's going to be a great show.
Yeah. Steve, can we just bring back some of those images? I know that everybody in America wants to see our beautiful faces, but can we bring back some of those pictures of little Miss Richfield? I mean, just look at the joy in her face. And I know these are promo pictures and stuff, but just seeing these pictures makes me smile, makes me happy, and makes me look forward to actually going out on a Saturday night. For anybody who knows me knows that is a high bar to clear. So I can't wait to come out of the house and see this.
Well, and Sunshine has such a great venue, and they always do such a good job of bringing in talent that maybe you're not going to see at, bigger, more expensive venues. This is like real talent, not overly produced and genuinely entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's great that we're doing stories like this because I never hear of any of these types of performing arts and events or some of these venues. Like, I mean, obviously, I didn't even know that Sunshine Cathedral would have some of these events, and that kind of excites me because it gives me a new avenue to have some joy in my life that doesn't necessarily have to do with the everyday, right? Like, sometimes you see what's on TV, you see what's in the commercials, which are the heavily produced, events, and then you get there and it's not what you really wanted to pay for. This feels like something I want to put my money towards.
Yeah, and you've got an in at Sunshine Cathedral, so you may not have to pay at all.
Well, I'm not that VIP anymore.
You gonna make the trip up and come see little Miss Richfield?
Yeah, I think I will. I especially like that comment about joy. I think joy is a form of resistance, and especially down here in South Florida, generally, our community needs to partake in as much joy as we can.
Yes. I love that joy as resistance. I like that a lot.
That is very cool. Very on point. And it's your turn.
Next up, let's clear up gay culture. Was Alexander the Great gay? Here's the real history on the Great Conqueror. Netflix's recent documentary, Alexander, The Making of a God, has ignited debates over the portrayal of Alexander the Great's sexuality. In a bold move, the show depicts Alexander, played by Buck Braithwaite, engaging in an intimate act with his friend Hephaestion, sparking controversy among viewers who feel the narrative distorts history. However, exploring the accuracy of these claims requires navigating through layers of historical interpretation and societal context. The controversy surrounding Alexander's sexuality isn't new. Director Oliver Stone's 2004 film, Alexander, also portrayed him as homosexual, prompting similar divisions. Yet, understanding Alexander's sexuality is complicated by the vast differences in historical context from today and the past. Ancient Greeks, for example, viewed sexuality through a lens of active and passive roles, rather than modern categories like gay or straight. Individuals who presumed passive roles were perceived as feminine, while those who took on active roles were considered masculine. The documentary presents Hephaestion and Bagos as potential romantic interests for Alexander. The grief Alexander expresses at Hephaestion's death has led some historians to speculate about their relationship. Similarly, references to Alexander's interactions with Phagos are interpreted by some as evidence of a romantic connection. Historians like W. Tarn reject claims of Alexander's homosexuality, while others, like Mary Renault, argue for it, reflecting the diversity of perspectives within historical scholarship. Despite the lack of definitive evidence, debates persist, highlighting the complexities of historical interpretation and the challenges of understanding ancient figures' personal lives. I feel that there's a lot of attention that goes towards understanding these ancient figures and what they were doing in bed, but there's a lot of queer people, from recent history who we know were queer, who are still being, kind of hidden in the shadows. And so I guess my question to you all is, what is the importance in your mind of exploring someone like Alexander the Great and his sexuality? Is there an importance to understanding that for today?
Well, for me, it would have been great for me if it was Alexander the Gay. I think that would have changed my life a little bit. I think it would have changed the trajectory of all of our lives if it was kind of known definitively that he was gay. Sure, there are people for sure that we need to pay attention to that aren't given their flowers, that are struggling, even, and I say the simplest, but even for being gay in this state of the world where it seems like it's easier to be. But really it's not. We're still kind of struggling with the same things that we've been struggling with for hundreds of years. Do I think it would have been easier for us if, our ancestors were gay? Yeah, sure. So if Alexander the Gay was Alexander the Gay, I think I would have been relieved.
Now, Dr. Houser, you have feelings about this.
Well, so to answer the question directly and then to kind of go off and be a Dr. Houser about it, I agree that we need to have a wide variety and plethora of experiences that are being shared and told. And so certainly, we need to spend time on modern stories as well as on ancient stories, because the ancient stories are what give our history validity and what give our history strength, in the same way that the kind of dominant narrative of the straight white man has been the dominant narrative for so long. To add this story is to add a bit of dominance that Alexander probably enjoyed, add a bit of dominance to that narrative as well. But in terms of Alexander the Great, so one of the things that I love, and I haven't started the series yet because I didn't realize it was a docudrama, and I wasn't in a state to engage with it as a docudrama when I started it. Okay. So I'm going to start it as soon as I have a chance. But so they have experts and they have authorities on this that are talking about this. The only reason why you would argue that he wasn't gay is because the Greeks didn't have a word for homosexual sex. It was just sex. The passive role was always the younger kid, and the active role was always the adult male, because the relationship was the man was there to take care of the boy. And more often than not, he was a fairly young boy. It's something that we wouldn't allow to happen today. But they didn't see anything wrong with it. It was expected, and it was also expected to stop at a certain time. It wasn't expected to be something that went on forever, although lifelong friendships and relationships did happen and grew. So it was a much different part of their culture, and for us to impose our cultural ignorance on an ancient time shows our lack of ability to understand both language and history. So I saw a post today. It was some conservative site said, within the first 8 minutes they made him gay. Well, no, not within the first 8 minutes they made him gay. He was gay. We just talked about it in the first 8 minutes of the show. Mm-hmm. Whether or not you use the word gay, there was a homosexual experience happening in his life, as it was in the life of most Greeks.
Well, perpetuating historical inaccuracies is an American specialty.
That's true. Well, that's absolutely true.
We, yeah, it really is. Almost 20 years ago now, when Oliver Stone's film came out and people talked about it, and I was like, okay, but I think it's more important that they do discuss it today than back then, because we are literally trying to be erased. There are legislatures from coast to coast that are trying to erase us. So yes, I agree. We do need to tell the stories of our contemporary LGBTQ plus brethren. But as long as Netflix is gonna make this, and let's be honest, it's probably queer baiting drama and they're loving this this debate. But as long as they're going to make it, let's make it historically accurate. And I believe that on an archaeological dig, they found a bottle of Uber Lube. So I think that pretty much settles the debate right there.
How did I know you were going to say that? I hope they make it hot. All right. Well, next, let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Ronnie Larsen Foundry Theater finds seamen in landlocked Wilton Manors starting February 22nd. Ronnie Larsen, a multifaceted artist known for his dynamic productions, is gearing up for his latest theatrical endeavor, Seamen. This campy and adventurous musical reimagines Captain James Cook's historic discovery of Hawaii, promising a rollicking ride filled with seafaring antics and humor. Excitement for Seamen is palpable, with tickets officially on sale, generating an impressive $12,373 in just one day. Kind of like my OnlyFans. The show's total advance sales have already reached an over $17,000, a remarkable feat for the Foundry production. Under the creative direction of writer and director Kalani Whitford, Seamen offers a unique entertainment experience for audience aged 18 and over.
Although you'll giggle like it's 12-year-olds.
Yes. Anticipation is high, and performances are already more than 50% sold out. Set to play at the Foundry in Florida from February 22nd to March 31st, Seamen is just one of Larsen's exciting projects on the horizon. From Bathhouse Boy to Daniel's Husband, Larsen's diverse repertoire is set to captivate Florida audiences. Tickets and further details are available at ronnielarsen.com.
Wilton Manors loves seamen! Seamen coming soon! Woo!
Well, Seamen coming soon.
I'm sorry, I'm 12.
Yeah. I'm
12.
I'm glad that I got this story because I got to say seamen like 6 times.
And I got to giggle like 7 times.
And I love semen on your tongue like that.
I do too. So I'm definitely going to watch this. This is another one of the stories I probably wouldn't have heard unless I was on the show or watched the show. So I'm really excited to see it. I'm assuming these men are naked, no? Are they? They looked.
I mean, yes, for part of it, I'm sure they will be. I went to the Foundry 2 or 3 weeks ago and saw, I think it was 10 naked men. It was a number. And naked men.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It was really good. The theater's great. It's a little intimate space. It's what we would call a black box. And it was a lot of fun. So I'm sure this is going to be equally as good and illuminating.
Like the blue light illuminating?
Oh. No, we're not going to your bedroom, John.
Okay, so now am I going to need to give you our HR rep's number after this, or are we cool?
I think we're good.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Provocative theater, is that your thing, or?
Yes, although I think just looking at some of the pictures, I found the word diverse a funny word to use to describe his repertoire.
Oh.
And I'll leave it at that.
Seamen can be diverse.
A couple things. First off, I don't think you're allowed to do a performance at the Foundry without some nudity, whether it's the ticket taker when you first come in, or sometime during the show. But Ronnie always puts on these really fun shows, so I'm looking forward to that. Also, if you want to go, we said they're more than half sold out. There's only like 50 or 60 seats in the theater. Like Tai said, it's black box. And so that means there's only like 25 seats left for each, on average, for each show. So get your tickets and get them soon. And also, just a point of clarification, Wilton Manors is not landlocked. We are literally an island city, which means we are surrounded by water. That's the city slogan, the island city. So feel free to bring your boat, but dock it up at my friend's house. Mark and Scott, they've got plenty of boat frontage space, so yeah, you'll be fine. So bring your boat, because we are a very seafaring city.
Filled with seamen.
Filled with seamen.
Oh, Lord.
Next, we queer up travel. Visit Lauderdale celebrates Black History Month. Visit Lauderdale is doing this by celebrating a rich heritage of the Black community with various events and activities. and every queer community member is invited to explore this cultural experience. The Old Dillard Museum, a historic landmark that once served as the first public school for Black children in Fort Lauderdale, now stands as a beacon of cultural preservation. Its jazz-themed exhibition space hosts live performances and showcase artifacts that illuminate the community's vibrant history. History Fort Lauderdale preserves memories of Seminole people and early settlers while also highlighting the city's oldest Black community. For kids, the Carver Ranch's branch library offers fun Black History Month kits. On February 15th, Jazz Reflections celebrates Black women in jazz. The Ali Cultural Arts Center remains a vital cultural hub for the African American community. Throughout the year, venues like Broward Center showcase talented Black performers. In Fort Lauderdale's oldest Black community, the Sistrunk Historical and Festival Parade brings history to life with parades, street festivals, and local vendors. That's on February 24th. The Chris Smith All-Star Classic Sistrunk 5K Run kicks off the festivities at DeLove Park, followed by a day of cultural immersion and celebration. Other community events like Kijiji Moja at Lincoln Park on February 17th continue the Black LGBTQ+ celebration, while Miramar's Afro-Carib Festival held on the same day adds Caribbean flair to the festivities, uniting the Black LGBTQ+ community and others in joyous celebration. And there's a lot to be said. First off, yes, we should always, of course, be doing this, but it's especially important this year when so many underserved communities are being literally tried to be erased by our governor and the Republican fascists in Tallahassee. So get out to one of these events. There's a whole month of them. Also, I should mention the Hotspots Happening Out Art Gallery with Dennis Dean on February 18th, I believe, is having a wonderful art exhibition featuring Black artists. And again, this is all brought to us by Visit Lauderdale, everyone under the sun.
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday international service at 10:30 a.m. Well, we finish tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News, let's queer up trans rights. Survey says nearly every trans person is more satisfied with life after transitioning. A groundbreaking study by the National Center for Transgender Equality reveals an astonishing 94% of transgender individuals felt satisfied with their lives post-transition. With over 92,000 participants, the 2022 U.S. Transgender Survey reveals the following data. Results indicate an overwhelming 98% satisfaction rate among those undergoing hormone replacement therapy, with less than 1% reporting dissatisfaction. Similarly, 97% of respondents who underwent gender-affirming surgery experienced increased satisfaction. But on the flip side, many of those faced a lack of support from those around them. Only 67% of adults whose families were aware of their transgender identity reported receiving support, while 12% encountered unsupportive reactions.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up business. Seattle LGBTQ plus venues win major victory after state raids. Following public outcry over raids at Seattle LGBTQ plus bars, the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board has halted enforcement of lewd conduct regulations. The board communicated this decision to state officials and declared it wouldn't issue citations for violations observed during the raids. The board also confirmed that its participation in joint enforcement team has been paused. It has proposed amendments to the lewd conduct rules during its February 6th caucus, and the voting on this matter is scheduled for the upcoming week. State Senator Jamie Peterson, the out-gay majority floor leader, said the lawmakers are taking every possible measure to repeal the lewd conduct regulations. Meanwhile, Seattle's LGBTQ plus community has welcomed the decision.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up drag culture. Mexico has a television news show with a drag queen anchor. In a small studio in Mexico City, 32-year-old Guillermo Barraza is making history. He's a journalist and the first drag queen ever to host a news show on Mexican TV. His drag character? Amanda. This news is even more critical against the backdrop of LGBT issues getting attention across the country. The reason he's doing this is because of the death of Ocio Baena, who was the first openly non-binary person in Latin America to hold a judicial position. Before their tragic death, Baena was on Barraza's show, La Verdrag. They were found dead alongside their partner in Mexico with several razor cuts on the body. This sent a wave of fear through the LGBTQ plus community of Mexico. But despite the increasing danger, Barraza says the show must go on.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up entertainment. Schitt's Creek Catherine O'Hara joins seasons 2 of The Last of Us. Beloved actress Catherine O'Hara, known for iconic roles in Beetlejuice, Home Alone, and Schitt's Creek, is set to star in HBO's The Last of Us Season 2. Her role remains undisclosed. O'Hara, who won an Emmy for Schitt's Creek, joins Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey in the video game adaptation, where the characters gradually develop a bond while passing through zombie-infested America. Season 2 also welcomes Caitlin Dever as Abby, seeking vengeance, Young Mazzino as Jesse, and Isabella Merced as Dina, a bisexual character. With this star-studded cast, anticipation for the series continues to soar among fans eagerly awaiting its return.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up drag culture. Laith Ashley becomes member of RuPaul Drag Race pit crew. Fans rejoice as Laith Ashley returned to the pit crew on RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16. The model, actor, and singer initially appeared in Season 10's Breast Worlds Challenge. His presence was recognized by vigilant fans in Episode 2 Queen's Choice Awards and Episode 4 RDR Live. He is known for roles in shows like Pose and Unconventional and has starred in Taylor Swift's Lavender Haze. Apart from multifaceted talent like Ashley, Season 16 also welcomes back Jesse Pattinson and features familiar faces like Bruno Alcantara, Calix Kwan, and Asaf Goren. With Laith Ashley's return, fans are anticipating more shirtless moments and captivating performances.
Well, that is today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show.
Sorry. If our community is important to you, which I hope it is, share this news and your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, part of our very large television audience watching this live LGBTQ plus news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV?
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm John Hayden. And on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Jonathan Casañas, Dr. Tai Houser, and our newest friend, James Lyons IV. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. And to our LGBTQ plus world, we wish you a very good night.
Night.